Good evening. My name is Tori Sani, and I am an 8th grade math teacher to some amazing students in Far Rockaway. Given the opportunity to do a little bit of research about topics that are related to my everyday work has been very beneficial, and I hope to incorporate some of these pedagogical techniques in my own classroom. Today I'll be presenting some information from a research article that was produced this past September by Carrie Ann Bernadowski. And Bernadowski takes a look at Think-Alouds in middle school math and its implications. She conducts an 8-week case study to assess the effects of these Think-Alouds on students' ability to conceptualize and answer word problems more effectively. A Think-Aloud is a great tool because it allows students to get inside their teachers' heads, and the teacher models how skilled thinkers solve problems. As the teacher is tackling a problem, he or she can verbalize their thought process, and they can read, annotate, find helpful steps, and describe exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. In the research that's done by Bernadowski, the idea is that teachers would not only model but also teach students how to think aloud and really make meaning of the math that they of the math problems that they're trying to solve. Um, this can really improve students' ability to think critically, reason for themselves, articulate their own thought processes, and persevere in solving math problems on their own. And this is a great technique because it really aligns with the Common Core mathematical practices, numbers 1 through 3, which pretty much state that these students should solve problems by themselves, think abstractly, and really construct viable arguments. Um, Bernadowski collects data from a teacher and her students in an urban school in Pennsylvania. The teacher is female. She's been teaching the same math course for about 15 years at this particular urban school, and she learned about Think-Alouds in a PD workshop. The students are 8th graders. There's a total of 18 students. 10 of them are male, 8 of them are female. 6 of these students identify as having a learning disability. 2 of these students have a speech and language difficulty, and the remaining 10 students were considered on grade level in comparison to their 8th grade peers. The researcher observed the classroom for 5 hours for each of the 8 weeks that the study was conducted, documented techniques that the teacher used during her Think Aloud, and then weekly interviews were conducted with the teacher, and the students' math journals and pre and post papers were collected. At the start of the study, the classroom teacher taught students how to use the writing process of drafting, revising, editing in math while they were writing in their math journals. And this is a technique that's normally seen in an ELA or English language class. She then goes on to model a Think Aloud using 8th grade literature, but then she also shows students, hey guys, a Think Aloud can also be used to solve math problems. And here we can see that this is an example of the teacher's Think Aloud and a drafted journal entry that the teacher produces. On the left side, we see a Think Aloud, and it goes on to say, the grocery store parking lot will hold 1,000 vehicles. So I have to think about how I will show 1,000 vehicles. Let me read on. 2/5 of the parking spaces are used for cars, which makes me think about how I can represent 1,000 vehicles and at the same time 200 cars. So again, here she's literally articulating, reading through the problem, and then voicing her opinion on how she will tackle this particular problem. After the think aloud, we can see on the right hand side that for the journal entry, the teacher writes, "In order to solve this problem, I had to visually represent the parking lot. I know that the parking lot holds 1,000 vehicles, so I drew the parking lot." And again, this is now paper to pencil showing how she's actually solving this problem. So going from the think aloud to the journal entry and articulating how this problem would be solved. So the teacher goes on to solve daily math problems by voicing her thoughts and writing them out on the board. She would reread her passage and make corrections out loud and check for the accuracy of her math. So not only checking the grammar and the spelling, but also being sure that the way that she handled and tackled the problem is actually accurate. The teacher did this process each and every day, but then slowly took away the scaffold for the students and gave them the opportunity to voice their thoughts for doing the daily question. As the article states, by the end of the fourth week, the students were completing the journal entries independently with little help from their teacher. In this slide, we have how the students felt about writing before and after the study was conducted. On the left-hand side, we see the pre-reflective response, and for the student identifier, so student S3, the student states, "I can't even get why she would make me write in her class." Student S5 states, "Math is numbers, not letters." And then on the left-hand side, the right-hand side, we see students after the study articulate that student S1 states, "We wrote nonstop. I don't mind. I like language arts class, so it's cool." Student S4 states, "I never thought to do pre-writing and drafting in a math class." So we can see the side-by-side comparison that in the beginning, students' attitude are negative toward writing in math class, but coming out of the study, the students kind of get a better understanding of maybe why math is important, and they're able to see that writing is just not only for a language arts class, that writing in math is also very important, and they're seeing the benefits of why it is important. So some results for this study is that the students improve their ability to articulate answers in written form, which really is the idea here. We want students to be able to write in math and articulate these thoughts, these processes, and put them down on paper and accurately. Another result is that the students used and applied writing processes, so writing, drafting, editing in their math journals. The students are able to improve their dispositions and they're able to improve their self-efficacy by responding more positively to their own abilities in writing, in math, and noticing their own improvement and understanding the benefits of writing. In conclusion, the takeaway from this article is that teachers really should be flexible and good at what they do. If we require students on benchmark exams and varying tests throughout the year to incorporate writing in their math and across subject areas, we really have to prepare them by teaching them how and the hows and the whats of writing in order for them to be successful at what they do. Um, in math, the student's ability to internalize a question will allow them to think critically and articulate their thought processes. Confidence in this process is key. Students should also be heard by the teacher. So when they're thinking aloud, the teacher should assess the student's understanding and identify and address misconceptions that they may have. And this concludes my presentation. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening and have a great night.